Have you ever wondered why some people get richer while others struggle financially, no matter how hard they work? The answer might be simpler than you think, and it comes from a single, powerful book. In his revolutionary book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki explains that the primary difference between the wealthy and everyone else lies in understanding just two words: assets and liabilities. It's a mindset shift. Kiyosaki learned two very different lessons about money. His poor dad, his highly educated biological father, believed in job security. His rich dad, his friend's father, believed in financial freedom through building wealth. The core lesson is this: the rich don't work for money. They make their money work for them. This isn't about magic. It's about financial literacy and knowing where to put your earnings. Most people spend their lives acquiring liabilities they mistakenly believe are assets. This single mistake is the primary cause of most financial struggles. It's a trap many of us fall into without even realizing it. The rich, on the other hand, spend their lives acquiring assets. They focus their energy, time, and money on things that will generate more money for them over time. Their financial statement looks completely different. So, what exactly is the difference? How can you tell an asset from a liability? The definitions are incredibly simple, but their application is what separates the wealthy from the rest. In this video, we'll break down Kiyosaki's simple definitions, show you clear examples, and explain how this knowledge can fundamentally change your financial future. Let's get started on the path to financial intelligence. Let's start with the most important concept. What is an asset? Forget the complicated accounting definitions you might have heard. Rich Dad's definition is brilliantly simple and effective for building wealth. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. That's it. It's something you own that generates a positive cash flow for you, whether you are actively working or not. Think of it as a money-making machine. You buy it once, and it continues to pay you over and over again. This is the foundation of passive income and the key to escaping the rat race. A classic example is a rental property. You own the building, and each month, your tenants pay you rent. After expenses, the remaining profit is money put directly into your pocket. Another powerful asset is dividend-paying stocks. When you own a piece of a profitable company, they share their profits with you in the form of dividends. This is money you earn just for being an owner. Even intellectual property, like a book or a patent, can be an asset. You create it once, and it can generate royalties or licensing fees for years, putting money in your pocket while you sleep. A business that can run without your direct involvement is also a prime asset. The systems you build generate profit, and that profit flows to you, the owner. You're not trading time for money. The goal of the rich is to build a strong column of these income-generating assets. Each one is like a little soldier working around the clock to make you wealthier. Now let's look at the opposite. Now for the other side of the coin, liabilities. Understanding this is just as crucial because this is where most people get stuck financially. Again, the definition is incredibly simple and direct. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. It's anything you own that has ongoing costs and expenses, creating a negative cash flow. It drains your wealth instead of building it. Think of a liability as a financial hole. Every month, you have to pour money into it just to maintain it. This is money that could have been used to buy assets instead. A car is a classic example of a liability for most people. You have car payments, insurance, fuel, and maintenance. All of these things consistently take money out of your pocket with no return. Credit card debt is another major liability. The high interest rates mean you are constantly paying out more money than you originally spent. It's a powerful, wealth-destroying tool that works against you. Boats, expensive electronics, and luxury items are also liabilities. They depreciate in value the moment you buy them and often come with maintenance and upkeep costs. They are purely for consumption, not investment. The poor and middle class often spend their income on acquiring these doodads and liabilities. This creates a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck as their expenses rise to meet their income. Recognizing what is truly a liability is the first step to financial freedom. It allows you to stop the drain on your finances and redirect your money towards things that will actually build wealth. Let's visualize how this plays out for the average person. The typical cash flow pattern of the middle class is what Kiyosaki calls the rat race. It's a cycle of working for money to pay for liabilities. It starts with a job. You trade your time and skills for a paycheck. This income is the primary and often only source of money flowing in. The focus is on getting a good, secure job. What happens to that paycheck? The money flows from the income column directly into the expense column. It's used to pay for taxes, housing, food, and transportation. There's very little left over. Then comes the desire to own things. A person gets a promotion, so they buy a bigger house. They get a raise, so they finance a nicer car. These are liabilities added to their balance sheet. Now, the expense column grows significantly. The mortgage, property taxes, car payments, and insurance all become new, large, recurring expenses that take money out of their pocket every single month. This forces the person to work even harder, seek more promotions, or get a second job just to cover their increased lifestyle costs. Their liabilities are dictating their life, trapping them in their job. Notice that in this entire cycle, no income-producing assets were acquired. The money flows in from a job and flows right back out to pay for liabilities. This is the essence of the rat race. This isn't a judgment, it's a pattern. It's what we're taught to do. Go to school, get a good job, and buy a house. But this path rarely leads to true financial freedom. Now let's look at the cash flow pattern of the rich. It's a fundamentally different approach. Instead of buying liabilities, they use their income to buy assets first. This is the crucial difference. The wealthy also have income, whether from a job or a business, but instead of immediately increasing their expenses, they direct a significant portion of that income into their asset column. They buy things like real estate, stocks, bonds, or they invest in businesses. They are purchasing things that will generate more money for them. They are buying sources of future income. As their asset column grows, something magical happens. The assets themselves start to generate income. This new income stream is separate from their job. This is passive income. The rich then use this passive income from their assets to buy even more assets. This creates a powerful, compounding cycle of wealth generation. Their money is now working for them. Only after their assets are generating enough passive income do the wealthy buy luxuries. Their assets pay for their liabilities. The rental property's profit buys the new car, not their paycheck. This is why the rich get richer. Their asset column is constantly growing, producing an ever-increasing stream of income. Meanwhile, they keep their liabilities and personal expenses under control. The goal is to have your passive income from assets exceed your monthly expenses. At that point, you are financially free. You no longer need to trade your time for money to live. Now, we must address the biggest point of confusion for most people. We've all been told the same thing. Your house is your biggest asset. But according to Rich Dad's definitions, this is dangerously misleading. Let's apply the simple test. Does the house you live in put money in your pocket every month? For the vast majority of homeowners, the answer is a resounding no. In fact, it does the opposite. Every single month, your house takes money out of your pocket. You have the mortgage payment, property taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, and unexpected repairs. The cash flow is entirely negative. People argue that their house appreciates in value. While this can be true, it's not guaranteed. More importantly, that appreciation is unrealized. You don't get that cash in your pocket until you sell. And when you do sell, you have to pay transaction costs. Plus, you still need a place to live, so you'll likely use that money to buy another, often more expensive house, restarting the cycle. A rental property, however, is a true asset. Your tenant's rent payment covers the mortgage, taxes, insurance, and repairs, and hopefully leaves you with a profit. It puts money in your pocket. The distinction is critical. Your primary residence is a liability because it consumes your income. A house becomes an asset only when someone else is paying for it, and it generates a positive cash flow for you. This doesn't mean you shouldn't own a home. It means you should understand its true financial nature. Buy assets that can pay for your house rather than working your whole life to pay for a liability. To further illustrate this mindset, Kiyosaki developed the Cashflow Quadrant. It divides people into 4 categories based on how they earn their income. Where you are on this quadrant determines your financial path. On the left side, we have E for employee and S for self-employed or small business owner. People on this side generally trade their time for money. Their income stops when they stop working. The E quadrant values security. They work for a company. The S quadrant values independence. They are their own boss, but they own a job, not a system. If they go on vacation, their income stops. On the right side, we have B for business owner and I for investor. People on this side build and own systems and assets that generate money for them, independent of their direct time. A B type owns a system and has people working for them. They could leave for a year, and their business would continue to run and generate income. They don't own a job, they own a system. The I type is the ultimate goal. An investor makes money with money. They don't have to work at all because their assets, like stocks and real estate, are working for them around the clock. Financial freedom is found on the right side of the quadrant. The goal is to move from being an E or S to becoming a B or an I. This is done by acquiring assets. It's a shift from active income, where you work for money, to passive income, where your assets work for you. The quadrant provides a roadmap for changing your financial destiny from security to freedom. So, let's bring it all together. The path to wealth, as described by Robert Kiyosaki, isn't about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep and how hard that money works for you. The fundamental lesson is to know the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Focus all your efforts on acquiring assets. Start by analyzing your own finances. Look at your income and your expenses. Ask yourself for each item you own, is this putting money in my pocket or is it taking money out? Your goal should be to build your asset column. Even if you start small, every asset you acquire is a step towards financial freedom. Buy a dividend stock, start a small side business, save for a rental property. This requires a shift in mindset from being a consumer to being an investor. Before you make a large purchase, ask yourself if it's a liability. If so, consider buying an asset first that can pay for it. Financial literacy is your greatest tool. Reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, watching videos like this, and continually learning about money is the best investment you can ever make in yourself. The journey starts with one simple choice. Do you want to spend your life working for money, or do you want to learn how to have money work for you? The choice is yours to make. If this concept has opened your eyes, let us know in the comments. What is the first asset you plan on acquiring? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more financial wisdom.